Modern tubes are made in Russia, Slovakia, or China. Vintage tubes made in the USA, England, Germany, or Holland sound better, especially at V1.
Dude, you are absolutely correct. I mean, just look at all that scientific data out there. I mean, there's tons and tons and tons of frequency response graphs backing up your claims. Oh, wait. No, there isn't. Hey everybody, this is episode number 389 of SMG Viewers Comments. It's Friday. Hope you're going to have an amazing weekend. Anyway, this show is about you, not about me, so let's get right to your comments and questions.
The sound is in the hands. Yep, and farts are in their mouths. The sound is in their hands. They don't need guitars. Just plug their hands into the amps. Technique is in their hands. Sound is in the gear. Dumb people spreading dumb things.
And considering how much I've heard the phrase, the sound is in the hands, there are an awful lot of dumb motherfuckers out there.
I'm really starting to wonder why 100-watt tube amps still exist when there are infinitely more practical amps that sound just as good.
You're not the only one, especially when even comes to amp sims. They're getting so good, I'm kind of wondering why I've got this giant pile of tube amps behind me. Don't get me wrong, I still really love them, but are they really necessary in 2023? Don't know. Now, I'm sure there's always going to be Puritans who demand that they go through a tube amp, and that's absolutely fine. But I want to hear from you guys. Do you really think tube amps are still necessary in 2023? I think that's a question that needs to be investigated and answered, but I definitely want to hear your opinion on the subject.
Yeah, speakers are important, of course, but they're not the only thing, and to say that pickup type doesn't matter is just incorrect. Flops just posted a video on P90s versus humbucker, same amp, speaker settings, etc., and there's clearly a noticeable difference between the two. I also know from personal experience, the tone between different guitars can be extremely noticeable. You're always saying speaker, 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 but unless you're playing with so much gain that everything sounds the same, there's plenty of distinction between different pickups. Try it sometime, but try it without so much distortion and try it with different amps.
Well, if we're trying it with different amps, wouldn't we be changing more than one thing, thereby invalidating the test? That's the whole thing. It's like, oh, I changed amps. See, the pickups sound differently. It makes no fucking sense, man. And if you want any validation on what I'm talking about, watch the video I put out on Thursday, December the 29th, where I did the pickup swap. We got some very interesting conclusions, and you can see what the difference is between changing pickups out and changing speakers out is. Here's the thing. One of them changes the sound an awful lot. The other changes the sound just a little bit. But hey, man, it's your money. You ultimately decide how you want to spend it. I'm just trying to help you make a better choice. That's it.
Good! I've been looking into making a cab with some vintage Eminence Squareback speakers. So my question is, what are the pros and cons of having a 4x10 cab, except for the obvious that they are lighter? I'm trying to make my own sound, and I have heard that 4x10 is a bit tighter on the low end and not so breakup happy. In playing with some high gain stuff, thank you very kindly, F you, kind sir.
Oh, I don't know about them being lighter. I've got a Laney 4x10 in the other room that weighs a metric fuck ton. It's a really cool cab. It's half closed, half open back. And I've still got to mic the fucker up. I asked the guys at Laney about it, and even they're scratching their heads about it. They're like, oh, we haven't seen that one. Wonder where that came from. So there's a bit of a mystery behind that one. The cool thing about 4x10s is you can use them for lead tones to sit on top of your 4x12 rhythm tracks. That's what I'm going to do anyway. I'm working on a video this week or the next week about dialing in lead tones. We're going to try some different ideas about how to get them to work better in a mix. And there's some simple tricks you can use to get some really cool shit happening. But one of them is try a 4x10 cab. So yeah, always a good idea to have one on hand, especially if you're recording band.
Just got this AIX package, and I'm applying it to some tracks from Hewitt's site, one of those contests. It's amazing how stupidly well this works. Stupidly well! Everything I bothered to learn up to this point about mixing drums has almost been a total waste of time. Life, frustration, strain on relationships, and bank balances all flushed down the waste of time toilet in a good way.
Hey dude, you know what? I'm super happy I could be helpful there. I'd say this to anybody out there who's maybe struggling with drum mixing and whatnot. Please check out my video, The Greatest Snare Mixing Trick I Ever Learned, because it definitely lays it out for you in a very simple and easy to understand way. I'm using the AIX drum EQ, and it works in a certain way that it just makes a lot of sense for tuning drums because it works on resonances and harmonics and all of that. And yes, you can do it with any standard EQ. It just saves you a lot of time and when it comes to doing the math involved. That's all. Really does some amazing stuff. Seriously, if you want to get an amazing snare sound, check that video out. It's going to be an awfully big help.
I would love a similar episode about kick drum.
Okay, I might be able to make that happen as well. Why the hell not? Here's the thing. If you guys are down for some more drum recording and mixing tutorials, again, I would like to hear from you. Because, I started doing some drum tutorials there last year, and they didn't do so well. And I'm thinking, okay, is there still interest in there? I want to know. Are you guys still making recordings with real live drums, and is that something you need help with? Because I'd be more than happy to offer it, because I fucking love recording drum stuff, and I'd love to do more drum stuff on the show. But it all really comes down to what you guys want to see. All goes back to that thing we were talking about last week, and that is, making stuff for the audience. A lot of you guitar wankers really don't think about writing songs. You just want to show off how great you are and don't give any consideration to the people who you might want to listen to your music. It's the same thing with making YouTube videos. It's like, I love doing drum stuff, but if it's not going to get the traffic, then I'm not going to do it. You have to be able to please your audience. And to those of you guys who keep coming back week after week after week, I am ever so grateful for that.
This may be my favorite video you have done, and can't wait to try it. I don't record, but I use Mike's headphones Reaper while I drum. My snare is just lost in money. Now I need to Google how to connect 2 tracks into a single fader. Thanks again. P.S. Does anyone know free VSTs that can do this? 149 is a bit much for a basement player dwelling just to relax.
I think I got that right at the end there. You don't have to pay $149 for all 3 plugins. You can buy them separately. They're much more affordable that way. I definitely recommend the AIX Drum EQ, and I'm glad you got some use out of that. As for using Reaper to connect the faders, it's really simple. All you got to do is grab one and push it into another. It's really simple to do. Just Google it. It should be no problem. For channels about Reaper, I'd recommend checking out Kenny Goya's The Reaper blog. He does some really great shit in there, and he's got some wonderful tutorials about learning the ins and outs of Reaper. Great stuff indeed. But it makes me very happy to know that I am helping people with my videos. Once again, if you're struggling with your snare drums, check out that video. It's going to be a big help.
I think I have it figured out. A lot of people seem to think the best way to prove you're intelligent is to disagree with others, even when others are asking questions and not providing answers.
I think people just like to be contrary by nature. It's like, how dare you disagree with me? I'm going to show you, and then never back anything up with any kind of evidence. Hell, remember that thing on Facebook there a couple years back? Is this dress blue or gold or whatever? People were arguing about that. It's just fucking insane. All I can say is this. Take everything with a grain of salt unless it's backed up by evidence. And then if you still disagree, get better evidence.
Glenn, for you, a signature guitar would have to be made of all synthetic materials because heaven forbid your model would have any possible connection to tone wood. I propose that yours be made out of a combination of lead and rubber because you're so sure that material of an electric guitar is made of simply doesn't matter. Might as well prove it, right? Let's even have fun with it and make sure your model for you where the body is a plastic tank full of water and maybe even make an actual fish tank. It'll sound the same, right?
Well, considering that pickups work on magnetic induction, yeah, probably. Only problem with putting a fish tank in your guitar is you would have unevenly distributed weight when you start moving around, so your guitar would have a lot of inertia, so that might not help so well with the old stage moves. The other problem would be you want something rigid enough that you can actually, bolt your pickups to and your strings and all that. Remember, the strings are going to add 300-400 pounds of force to the neck, so you are going to want something solid. Not saying it has to be quote-unquote tone wood. Hell, plywood would probably work. But I think we've seen people make guitars out of concrete and cardboard, and you fucking name it, like Stratocasters especially, they still wound up sounding like Strats. Wonder how that could be. But if I ever wind up doing a signature guitar, I really don't give a shit about what type of wood it's going to be made from. All I care about is that the wood's not going to shrink and that the frets are going to be okay and that it's going to be affordable. That's going to be the main point for me. I don't want some ridiculously expensive signature model that nobody's ever going to be able to afford to buy. Where's the fun in that?
Glenn, you make it sound as if you used a certain speaker that whatever you play will sound the same. If you play every guitar you own through the same cabinet, would they all sound exactly the same? That's what it sounds like you're saying. Come on, man.
Oh, here we go, once again, putting words in my mouth. No, what I am saying, and please fucking pay attention this time, I'm going to be extra special clear so even you can understand, is I've said this numerous times. Some guitars are a little brighter than the others. Some might be a little darker. That's about it. That's all the real variation you are getting. This is obviously something I can do in a blind test, and I should really do this maybe sometime this week. This should be kind of cool. We're going to hear some minor tonal variances, but not massive tonal variances. No, that's just ridiculous. And, this all comes down to we listen with our eyes. I've done it here I don't know how many times. I'll play one guitar, and then I'll pick up another that's tuned exactly the same way and think, oh, wow, this sounds so different. And then you play them back on the computer. It's like, oh, no, they don't sound different. Not really at all. Hell, in that free IR video I did a couple weeks back, you can see me play a whole bunch of different guitars, and one guy even went as far as to say, holy shit, all these guitars sound the same. It's like, yeah, no fucking shit. What I've been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks. The speaker is the single biggest deciding factor in your tone. It's not the only deciding factor, but it's certainly the most important. It's going to be 80% of your tone. So here's an idea. Worry about the thing that's actually going to change your fucking tone instead of arguing about it. Fuck.
When I place my WA-47 in front of my amp speaker, no matter how much lower the input volumes, interface, preamp, condenser, etc., it still clips. I have to turn the amp down so low that I lose the magic of the tubes breaking up. Is there some kind of trick, or do I need to have to keep moving the back further and further away from the speaker?
You might want to try getting something called an inline pad. That might help. The problem is, yeah, your mic's too fucking sensitive. I'm actually, is that the WA-47? Is that the tube condenser? Yeah, I haven't used that one. I've had a couple of warm mics come in, and honestly, I haven't been too impressed with them. I was going to shoot out their 87 versus my vintage 87. I'm just like, yeah, I can't sit here and recommend this because it doesn't sound like a vintage 87. Not even close. So I'm like, nope, not happening. I am going to be shooting out some of the FET 47s. I think a worm's going to be in there, but we're going to put it up against like one of the United ones as well, which should be pretty fucking cool. Stay tuned for that. Yeah, what you want to do is get this. This is a Whirlwind negative 30 dB inline pad that you can get at Sweetwater for $25 whole. That's not a whole lot to spend. See if that clears things up. Hopefully it will. Hopefully it's not that the capsule in your mic is being overloaded. Hopefully that can get the signal quiet enough. Good luck to you, man. Hope it works out.
Bro, I love your channel and videos, but I just want to say that for not an English speaker, well, I can speak and understand English, but it's not my mother's language. It's kind of impossible to understand the fast-forward comments or 2x speed comments or whatever you call them. Sometimes I have to pause the video to read the comment and understand what you're saying, and sometimes I just give up and try to find the context in your answer. Anyway, awesome show. If you accept my advice, we're on your blendings tune. Best.
Yeah, that's why I put the comments in there so you guys can pause them and read them. Sorry, they're going too fast. I learned this a long time ago when I first started doing this show. A lot of commenters tend to be a little bit long-winded. That's why I started speeding up the comments just so we could get to the fucking point that much quicker. So yes, my apologies to the non-native speakers, but seriously, blame the commenters, don't blame me. I'm trying to cut through the bullshit, that's all. As for the bends, thanks for the advice. I am working on it.
Do you feel like some people confuse playing style with tone?
Yes, they do. Saw a YouTuber friend of mine who's going to remain unnamed. You know, he's like, oh, how you bend your string, that's your tone. No, it's not, you fucking idiot. That's the fucking technique. How you fucking dial in the amp, that's the fucking tone. Ugh, musicians.
Ever since 2015. I remember the thing that got me hooked on one of your videos comments video, and funny enough, I've never really gone through the comments of your videos, Glenn. Today I did, and the support from this community has been truly remarkable. You have built such a loyal following, and I'm proud to have been there from nearly the start. Keep it up, man. Spread the metal gospel. Your content is entertaining, informative, and my favorite, uncensored. Never stop telling it like it is. The world needs more people like you.
Elijah, thanks so much for being with me for so very long. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to keep cranking these videos out as long as you guys keep coming back. I'll make more. Thanks so much for your support again. I really do appreciate it, man.
Glenn, I rather like what you did to that HBV. That little gold stud actually gives it some character. If I could give it a nickname, it'd be the SMG Snaggletooth V.
That's not bad. I remember we had a Jackson Mustaine come in, and the guitar player actually snapped one of the saddles on his Floyd, and we had to order a replacement part. He had like a silver bridge, and he could only get like a black saddle for it. So we nicknamed that guitar Black Tooth Grin. Smile, it's Black Tooth Grin. You know, it was kind of hilarious because he was a big Megadeth fan, but I kind of get where you're coming from. The Snaggletooth V, that's not bad, dude.
Another song that takes advantage of those vowel sounds with a sticky as hell chorus is Pour Some Sugar on Me. I guarantee you just reading that title has the chorus running through your head with those elongated vowel sounds just digging into your brain.
And I guarantee everybody watching this video just said, hey, fuck you, Michael, great, now I can't get that song out of my head. But that is what great songwriting is. It isn't a bunch of fucking djenting away on an 8-string. It is writing something memorable. Maybe some of you guys should try that sometime, instead of just showing off how awesome of a guitar player you are.
Glenn, where's the thing about the fucking Goodman speakers?
The video is called The Secret to Black Sabbath Tone, and we put together a pretty good facsimile version of the album rhythm tone on the first Black Sabbath record. Go check it out. And it's a simulation of the Goodman speakers that were loaded into an early lady supergroup cab. Really cool stuff. Check it out.
Have you thought about kicking a water bottle once you hit 500,000 and managed to get Stevie T over the line?
Well, you know, I've been giving it a lot of thought what to do at 500,000 subscribers. And yeah, by the way, guys, I'm getting ever so closer. So if you could hit that button, it would be a gigantic help. There's been a couple suggestions, and somebody suggested that at 500,000 subscribers that I kick Stevie T. I think that's a great idea, and I ran that by Stevie T, and he thought it was a great idea. So if you want to see that happen, hit the subscribe button. Get me to 500,000 subscribers, and I will kick Stevie T. And then Stevie can be on the Butthurt of the week. All right, guys, gonna wrap it up here, but before I go, don't forget to check out my pickup swap video if you haven't seen it already. You can see it right here. It's pretty surprising just how little of a difference the different pickups make, especially when you're going from humbucker to humbucker. So if you're thinking new pickups are gonna be the magic bullet into getting you the guitar tone that you want, you might want to watch this and think about saving your money.